Hello everyone. Greetings for the day. So based on few requests from my previous batch students and current batch students to share some communication tips and do's and don'ts with the international IT clients. So I compiled some communication tips and going to explain those, cover those in this short session. So before going, so let me quickly show you the agenda. So these are the agenda items for this today's session: communication with international clients, and you can see the list of items that we are going to discuss today. We have to use proper subject line in emails, use appropriate date formats of the clients in email and other communication, and use proper punctuation and so on. Right. So before jumping into the session, so let me quickly give a brief introduction about myself. So this is from MGM IT. So I have been running performance testing trainings and manual testing trainings from 3 years successfully. And this is my YouTube channel. Here you can see my YouTube channel. And I started, this is my YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I would before starting the session, I would also like to thank my viewers and subscribers for their comments and feedback that they are sharing over here. All right, so let's go into the session. So this, let me go to the first slide, right? So communication with the clients. So this is the main agenda topic that we are going to discuss in IT, right? So communication with IT clients. Let me quickly update it, right? So dealing with any clients in services is an art, as you know, right? So let me go to the slide show presentation mode. Dealing with any clients in services is an art, services industries is an art. And in the case of IT, we primarily deal with American and UK clients, as you know. Of course, we have some Australian clients as well. So, but majority of the clients will be, or majority of the projects will be that we will be working in IT, as you know, would be American and UK clients, right? And it is useful to know how English language works with them and how to communicate well with the clients. And some of us may hesitate to speak to the client because we are not confident. So we have many people entering into IT in the recent past. So and one problem that they face is with regards to this communication skills, right? And of course, practice makes you confident. So as part of my contribution, I would like to cover some communication tips and do's and don'ts in this session today, right? The first one is do not interrupt the client when they are speaking, right? So generally, we Indians, like, some of us like interrupt each other constantly in the meetings. Not all of us, but some of us may be interrupting each other constantly in the meetings. However, do not interrupt the clients when they are speaking, right? And next tip is like use appropriate subject line emails. So make sure you always have a subject in your email and that the subject is relevant, right? So do not use a subject line such as hi. Clear? So, and the next one is use appropriate date format, right? So we in India have follow this date, month, and year format, as we know, right? So, however, like when communicating with international clients or preparing reports, use the appropriate date format as per the client region, right? So if this is US date format, which is MMDDYYYY. I gave some example over here, and yes, we know this that Indian date format is DDMMYYYY. So when you are preparing report or when you are communicating with the clients, we have to use appropriate date format as per the client region, right? I gave some examples over here. And I have listed some UK date format and Australia date format, and which date format we have to use when we are communicating with the clients or preparing reports. So, and next, use proper punctuation, right? So in Indian context, in email communications, use proper punctuation. Explain something without breaking your flow. Use semicolons, hyphens, or parentheses. Clear? So I gave some example, listed some example over here. So you have entered a new bug, the pop-up not showing up in the defect tracking system. We could not reproduce it, although a screenshot would help, right? So notice here that a reference to the actual bug is added in the parenthesis. Clear. So here you can notice here that a reference to the actual bug is mentioned in the parenthesis, and so that the sentence flow is not broken, and also break a long sentence using such punctuation. All right. So let me move on to the next slide. Yeah. The next tip that I want to show you is use proper punctuation. Let me give some example over here. I took some example over here. So let's say for example you are discussing application architecture, right? So in Indian context, we like in these terms, like we may need to mention that as three-tier architecture, right? The word tier is not pronounced as, should not be pronounced as tier. So please remember, like this particular word should be pronounced as tier and not as tier, right? So the correct pronunciation is tier. Clear. So the T is pronounced as here you can see the TI is pronounced as T here, right? So this, when you say n tier architecture or three-tier architecture, you should pronounce it as tier but not as tier, right? I just gave some examples over here and try to cover some as elaborate as possible. The next one that I want to explain is do not say sir and do not call woman as madam, right? So in international context, when you talk to someone for the first time, refer to them as they refer to you, right? So in America, the first conversation usually starts with by using the first name. So therefore, you can use the first name of a client. So however, don't say sir or don't say madam. Don't use sir or madam, right? Let me move on to the next one. So use advance instead of prepone, right? So let me explain this. So in Indian context, like we generally use this word called prepone, right? So to prepone an appointment is an Indian usage, right? Whereas there is no actual word called prepone. So you should use, you can use advance an appointment, right? So use advance instead of prepone. That is the next tip, right? And some more general tips, like we generally follow this you know follow this, or generally say this March end or month end or day end, right? Which are not understood well by the Americans, right? So in international client context, they use these as end of September or end of March, right? So I have to edit this uh, right, or end of the month or end of the day, right? So instead of saying September end, you should pronounce it as end of September, isn't it? Right? Or end of month or end of the day, EOD, which we call in short as EOD. Clear? Next. And use, yeah, the next one is use kindly repeat instead of pardon. So do not say pardon when you want someone to repeat what you said. Say, for example, when you are attending a meeting and if you want to ask the client or any stakeholder to repeat something, so we generally use pardon, right? If you don't get that in the first instance, we generally use this word pardon, right? So in international client context, the word pardon is unusual for them, and is somewhat formal, right? Therefore, you can use kindly repeat, somewhat right, uh, not so well understood. So here you can use kindly repeat instead of pardon, right? And do not use the word screwed up or pissed off, right? So in Indian context, like do not use the term screwed up liberally. If a situation is not good, do not use the words such as shucks or pissed off. Instead of that, it's better to say the situation is messed up, right? The next tip I am going to explain is use that instead of same. So do not write the same in an email. Do not use the word same in an email. It makes little sense to them. So just give an example here. So I will try to organize the project artifacts and inform you of the same when it is done. Right. So it is better written simply as I will try to organize the project artifacts and inform you when that is done. Right. I marked the word which is not appropriate to use in red color, and the appropriate word was marked in a either green or yellow color. I hope you observed that, right? So let me move to the next one. Do not use the word doubt. right? So do not write or do not say, I have some doubts on this issue. So we use this term because in Indian context, word for doubt and a question is the same, right? So, however, in international clients context, the term doubt is used in the sense of doubting someone. So the correct usage for the clients is, I have few questions on this issue. So do not use the word doubts. Instead of that, I have, you can use like, I have some questions on this issue. Clear? And let me move on to the next one. Do not use today evening or today night, right? We commonly use the terms like today evening, today night, or yesterday night and yesterday evening, right? So these are not correct actually. So today means this day. Please remember that today means this day, where the day stands for daytime. Therefore, when you say today, right, or when you say tonight, right, uh, when you say today night, it's confusing because today means daytime. So therefore, today night is confusing. So the correct usages are this evening or tonight. If you want to say today night, so you have to use this word tonight. Or if you want to say yesterday night, you have to use last night. And if you want to say yesterday evening, you have to say last evening. Clear? So again, I mentioned the wrong usages in red color and the correct usages in yellow or green color, right? And the next one that I'm going to explain is use however instead of but, right? So in Indian context, we generally use these words like but or yesterday or tomorrow, right? However, in international clients context, you should not use but is a wrong word. Use however instead of but, use last day instead of yesterday, and use next day instead of tomorrow. All right. And the next one that I'm going to explain is there is no word called updation, right? Avoid saying updation, right? In international client context, you have to use like this. You have to use update like this. You wait for updates to happen to the database, or you update somebody, right? And there is no word called updation in international context. So this is purely used by our Indians in the Indian context, right? However, there is no word called updation, right? So please like, share, subscribe to my channel if you find this information useful. The next tip that I'm going to cover is do not use the word back, right? So we generally use this word back in Indian context. However, use instead of back, use ago, use the word ago. So back is the worst word in American context. Please remember this, right? So please don't use the word back. Instead of this, use ago. For days, use ago, and for hours, use before, right? So if you want to say like few hours back, right? So you should not use few hours back, but you should say few hours before. If you want to say few days back, you should use few days ago, right? However, don't use the word back because back is the worst word in American context. Please remember this. And few more tips when explaining some complex issue, stop occasionally and ask, does that make sense? So instead of saying, did you understand me? Please use, does that make sense? Right? And the next one is, yeah, another important thing is, say for example, you are new to IT or like you are like poor in like average in communication skills, spoken English or communication skills, right? Or if you cannot understand US accent, or if I cannot understand US accent, this is something which we follow. So whenever you attend a client meeting or any other important meeting like stand-up call or a scrum meeting, take notes in the meeting. And if you want to make sure that, so some clients accent, US clients or UK clients accent will not be neutral, so neutral. So if you want to make sure that you got precise details, prepare minutes of meeting. We call that as MOM, and share it to the stakeholders after the meeting, immediately after the meeting. So that like if there is any misunderstanding or you will get a clarification from the stakeholders of the client, right? So please prepare this minutes of meeting after an important meeting and share it with your client or the respective stakeholders, right? And improve communication skills and understand US or UK accent. So please read English newspapers or watch English movies or watch international English news channels and communicate in English to your colleagues while at work, and stay with like-minded and ambitious roommates, flatmates, and communicate with them in English. Right? This is one more important thing to improve your communication skills, right? And this will also help us to improve diction as well as our confidence, right? And let me move on to the next slide, right? And expand the abbreviations, right? So it is usual convention in initial emails to expand abbreviations. Suppose, say for example, we want to say we are planning to use the Java API for registry. I just give some example. So expand the abbreviation first, and then you can put the acronym in a bracket, right? After mentioning the expanded form, once subsequently you can use the abbreviation or acronym over here, right? Next. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's all for now. And just before ending the session, so let me do some self promotion. So we are running uh, manual testing and performance testing training sessions from more than 3 years, and we have 90% success ratio in all the batches in the last 2 years. We started these trainings in 3 years back. However, like from 2 years onwards, we have more than 90% success ratio in every batch. This is my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me show you like how to reach my channel. So you can search for this in YouTube, software performance testing real-time training. Let me quickly show you up that if someone did not subscribe. So please go to YouTube and search for software performance testing real-time training. And this is my YouTube channel. Let me show you. These are all my videos, recent videos, right? Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and let me thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Please share your feedback, comments in the comment section. So I'll be as this is public video, yes, you can share your feedback or comments, and constructive comments or feedback is always welcome. Thanks once again.